Onegaishimasu. Welcome again, Rusty McMains. This kata this video we're gonna focus on Saifa. Saifa is a little bit more difficult, as are some of the other kata Seiyunchin, a little bit more advanced katas. To teach it so separate, the hands and the feet together. Gegisai Daiichi, Gegisai Dani make it simple because they're what I refer to like block katas. They're so straight line. I'm here, I face in other words. There's not a lot of angulation in those two katas as there are in everything else. Saifa, for me, really begins to teach more of a circular motion, a tornadic idea, using the force of the body, this twisting and turning. So it almost becomes a little difficult to teach them separate. But at the same time, I want to do a little bit just to be able to teach it, when I teach it to my beginning students or the ones who are just learning it, begin to teach certain aspects of it so they can focus on that. So when they do add the stance, it is a little bit simpler to understand, because again, the whole idea is while they're practicing this, I want to make sure that they're not raising their shoulders, the elbows are in position, they're following the rubbing, the contouring of the body, the muchimi. So we want to make sure those principles are always emphasized when doing the technique. A lot of people don't look at it, but there's muchimi even in your stances, in your hips, the opening and closing. So keep an idea that muchimi is not to hold anything back, but it's to allow it to move freely, but still keeping in contact, what I call Ray Charles karate. So we're going to do a little brief overview of some of the aspects of what I consider the important parts of saying a Saifa. We'll do a little short overview of the stances, then we'll put it together. Again, it's very difficult to teach this kata, even to a beginner, without putting the two together, because the body angling, the contouring of the body, the whole body alignment is dependent on each other. So starting the kata in our system, we start with the hand in a vertical position, right hand on front. Now as this comes over, I'm going to do a little short punch, no different than if I did when I was doing my kata. So keeping the idea of sanshin, shoulder stays down. If you bring this over too far, you're going to raise the shoulder up. So concentrate on this shoulder as you bring this down, and that will stop the punch at its normal position. So I don't stop my punch here. My shoulder, my keeping this body alignment stops my punch, and it keeps this everything level. So from here, come across, little twist at the end, shote, bring it back. Now when I bring this back, I don't bring it this way. My elbow pulls my hand in place. So the concentration is on the wrist next to the body, not the hand next to the body. So as I'm here, back, gripping, this is where I've got the person's arm, bring the elbow straight out, drop it a little bit, there's my back fist on a nice straight line. Boom. Now come to the left side. Same thing, keeping that shoulder down as I twist, so I don't raise it up. Shote, bring it back, that elbow, lock it. Elbow comes out, drop it, Uda Kanuchi, and then back to the right side. Keeping that shoulder down. I don't want to raise that up. Shote. Now from here, just bring your hands straight forward. So I haven't changed the position here. I've just brought my hands forward. Now, use this part of the arm to push up, and here, push down with the forearm. Push down, you get here, lock. This looks familiar if you know Seiyunchin. It's the same idea. If you know Sei-san, Super Renpei, it's the same type motion. So you learn it here. When it gets time to do those advanced katas, it's not so advanced. So again, using those forearms and biceps, push up, lock. That would be my knee, kick. Again, using this comes inside. Lock it. So it's not just little twisty turning, it's up, lock. That would be my knee and my kick. Here, bring this hand here. Bring it to your chest, let your body separate your arms. Come out, strike. Dip your whole body, not quite 45. Now from here, bring your hands together. Don't loop them out. When I teach this, I teach the hand that's closed not as the strike. That's the grabbing hand, pulling down. This becomes my strike. So here would be my turn. When I do the kata, just bring it up. Repeat the same thing, using the body to separate your hands. Elbows, again, follow what I do, follow the contour of the body. Tilt, left hand comes out. Now here's a part that I don't find very many instructors or systems teach. As this hand comes back, I do Gedan Uchiuke. So we know we have Jodan Uchiuke, Chudan Uchiuke, and then Gedan Uchiuke. So you can teach this as a block, you can teach it as a strike. If I had your arm and I hit, I'd break the elbow, or try to anyway. So from the Tetsui here, as I pull this hand back, it allows this one to come out. Swing this over. Don't bend your elbow. If you do, someone can stop it. Here, it comes down. This is a downward motion, not a forward motion. Hit, grab, pull the elbow to the body, let the body, arm follow that body, Agasuki punch. Now from here, this hand closes, drop, roll, roll. Swing it, pull the arm to the body, here. Leave this hand here, clear the path, Washi Uke. Remember the name of the Kata Saifa, rip and tear. Grab that skin, rip it from the muscle. This starts to begin to activate your koshi, this is your hips, everything. Pull it in, slide, there's your punch. Now from here, come out. Same position as when you transition from the Urukunuchi into the Skuluke. Here, so once I did this punch, straight out. Now, this is the most difficult part of this kata. These hands come over. This is the same thing as if I did Geiki Sadaichi. Here, okay? I've grabbed somebody's hand. This hand's on top, pulling them in. That's my pressure. So as I pull this in, I pull. Let that body turn. So if you'll notice, see this nice straight line here? My elbow stayed on that line. My arm follows around the side of my body. And then the elbow comes out. And this is a really small motion. This will be the same motion you find when you do Seiunshin, the same motion that you do when you do Kururunfa. So again, if you learn it here, it'll transition over. You're already learning other katas. The concept, the principles are always going to be there. It's always being taught in the kata. It has to be taught a little bit. You don't want to go too much. Again, this kata is not, this tape is not just for beginners. It's also for some of the more advanced students who may or may not have heard it. Maybe it's the first time they're hearing it, now they're hearing it again, and then finally the light bulb's going off. So from this motion, bring it in. You can almost think of like you have a chi ball. Bring your ball inside. Let that body start to turn because this is going to turn your body. There's my strike. Let this come in. What am I doing? There's my hinge. Hit. Pull back. Now this hand, the back hand, turns me. Then I press. And then finish. Okay? So now let's go ahead and do a really quick overview of the stance. Just the stances, no hands. I'm not going to step straight 12 o'clock because I can't step through my opponent. So I'm going to skim right by them. I don't want a big gap. I want to be right on top of this person. So once I go here, I'm going to start to bring my weight, but so that this foot can move. And again, I'm stepping forward, not to the side. Start to shift your weight. You notice I'm starting to turn my hip. This will be the same thing I did when I did Geiki Sadaichi. So again, my katas are connected. They're not separate. I start to shift my weight, use that butt, and let my foot drag in. And then I begin to sit here. Turn, step forward. Now don't step to the side. You want a nice full long Senkusudachi front stance. Start to turn that hip. Let this butt start coming forward. And let that drag step in. And then down. Let this hip, there's my hip again. That's going to turn my entire trunk of my body. Turn my entire trunk of my body, let that foot come in and down to Shikodachi. Now, I want to break this up at this point in time. So again, once I go from here, here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go just a little bit. Sort of between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Step in. I'm already at my person. They're right here. Start to turn and look at that person, but I'm actually in the kata. I keep my eyes forward, but I wanted to adjust my body to where my technique's going to be. Now, you see how I shifted my weight? Don't step backwards. Begin to drop your weight and then let your foot move. Okay? So don't step, then move your foot. Start to drop and let that leg move. That allows you to drop your body. And then from here, see, I'm already starting to shift my weight, which allows me to move in. Turn. Sit. So we've got to the part where we've done here. Now I'm going to go to my goju-ryu. I come this way. I come forward. From here, I'm not going to step to the side. That's not where my opponent's at. My opponent's, I like to connect this technique to the next part of the kata. Whether you actually want to, it's actually a viable technique, but it helps my students to understand that body alignment, that positioning, that targeting. So if I'm here from the kata, I come straight in, keeping this knee, and then let it turn. Now, to shift, what do? Bring this knee in. That allows this weight to come off. Knee up, keep that low balance. Here. So see, there's no up and down. Again, shift this weight in, allows this leg to slide. Keep that weight nice and low. Here. Now, from there, start to lower your weight, let your front stance come back. So if I turn sideways from here, I don't want to shift my weight back. I'm still grappling this person. I'm still dealing with this idiot. Here, I want to drop my weight and let my foot slide back. So I'm trying to maintain my posture. So the knee is up, I come down. Just like I did in San Chin, I shift my weight, place my heel, come here. Now, use your hip to turn you. A little bit of a body shift, slide your weight, use your hip, up and down. Pull this hip back, or pull that leg back. Turn, let that hip come up, down. Use your hip, pull. This is my pulling hand. That's my koshi. Pull. There, San Chin. Now, this part is real important. So this is where I'm going to do the twist in the kata for this part. When I do this turn here, I want to turn more to where my body's facing my opponent. I don't want to be sideways here. I want to face you. So you have to let your feet kind of move. You have to be mobile. Then when you step to the outside of this foot. Come here. Almost like if you're in a sideward front stance. And then just pull your hip back. Don't move your foot back. Shift your weight and let this foot drag. And then they would do the turn again. So again, it's difficult to teach this kata without bringing the two together. But it is possible to be done if you have students in there following. So let's go ahead and put it together, and then we can put some points of interest in when we're doing the kata. So let's start from the beginning. Now, as this hand comes up, I'm already starting to turn, facing that direction where I'm going. So I don't want to come up here. Start my turn, start directionalizing. Step, keeping my eyes here. I'm going to slide here, turn, there, keeping this in line. So you notice I'm not coming way out. Once we get into application, we'll adjust this. Now, I'm going to come forward, at the same time drop my weight, pull and back. This hand comes back to this hand. Step, again, more forward than lateral. Keeping the eyes forward, shift that weight, use your hip. There's your technique. Boom, boom. Here, drop. Drop, strike. pull back. Step, keep the eyes forward, shift that weight, turn that hip, use your hip to turn you here. As this comes forward, you drop. Boom. So think of somebody, I do it with my kids a lot. I tell them I have a samurai sword, I'm gonna cut their head off. So they come here, they drop, they get underneath their hip. Now from here, this hand, watch this hand, straight forward. So this part of the kata does not go to the side. It's a straightforward movement. Use this hand, the shote here, leave this here, step forward. Now, use this forearm, your thigh, coordinate that movement together. As you lock this hand, that's the knee and the kick. Now, you'll notice, let me sit back a little bit. Here, I'm gonna maintain this height all the way through my turn. I'm gonna slide in, maintain this height, kick, right down to shikodachi. So I've stayed the same height the whole way through, using your bicep and your knee, your thigh, coordinate these two together. Lock it with the lock, boom, kick. Now, drop your weight, let the leg go back. So I'm gonna turn sideways for a second. Here, drop. Again, I don't wanna go from here to here. Maintain here. So here, down, cross those hands. Pull into your body. My interpretation on this, and you're gonna do whatever works best for you. Somebody's grabbed me. This is gonna come strike. Gallbladder 20, maybe small intestine 18 on the side of the neck. Could be to the gallbladder points inside the head. It's a strike. It just depends on your interpretation. So once I hit that, I'm gonna pull them in. Strike. Down. Remember, this is the pull. That's the strike. Step. Keep your hands in this position as you turn. Now do the technique. What you don't want to do, start your technique out here. Now technique. Get in body position first. Body alignment, body positioning. Drop it, hit. Now what do? There it is. Somebody's grabbed me from behind, I pull off. I swing over, hit. So I like to hit with this part of the hand, not just this. Remember, the person's close. So when I hit, this is what I end up kind of hitting with. This motion of the wrist allows the kinetic energy to follow through on the technique. If I do this, there's no kinetic follow through. This motion here, same thing on the back fist, allows that kinetic energy to travel through the actual contact point. So if I'm in this position, there's my block, hit. Now here's my grab, I pull. It's going to pull my leg back for my punch. There's my block, my little bit of a turn, hit, grab, pull, strike. So if I'm here, facing in normal position, start to roll this, strike, pull. Once I get turned, punch, block, hit, pull. Use that push. Now keep the hand in this position. I'm going to turn sideways, so I just come here, uppercut, leave this here. Step, block. So again, I'm already on top of my opponent. I can't step forward. He's already there. It's like this pole that's right here. I can't step into the pole, it's there. So as I uppercut this way, you leave this hand here, let this hand come out. Let it clear that path for that block. Grab, and there's your punch. So here, pull, step forward, clear that path, my washiuke, grab, punch. Now, turn. I'm going to turn and face away. The biggest part here is if I've done this punch, is when I do this turn, I want to turn my body so it faces my opponent. So as I'm come here, and as I turn, I want to turn my body. I don't want to be sideways. See, I'm already sitting in, I'm basically in nekoashidachi, in sokudachi. Now step to the outside of your stance. See, I'm not going to step in line. Step out here. Bring this hand forward. Here, as this leg moves back, this hand comes forward. So again, I haven't moved. There's my punch. Turn. Boom, I stayed there. Now, this hand. Pull. Let this leg drag. Don't bring it to you. Let the shifting of your weight pull it. And there's your strike. Hit, turn, and press. And finish the kata. This kata, to me, is one of my favorite katas. Not because of the kata itself, but what it begins to introduce. It's a really total body alignment. There's, in some ways, you see contradiction, but contradiction doesn't necessarily mean you're fighting each other, okay? Contradiction means that you learn how to move around it. Contradiction creates pathways, it creates resistance, creates your understanding of how to get around it. So in doing your kata, again, you have to learn it in the beginning. There has to be a partner in some form or fashion, so you begin to understand intent. Intent has to be there from the beginning. So we're going to go through the kata one more time. So again, don't get so caught up. If you do this and you pull this out, that's fine and dandy. My methodology is my experience, my understanding. How you teach it might be a little bit different, but just always make sure that you support it with really legitimate and research, that you prove the technique. I hope this video is effective, gives you a little bit of insight. Don't worry about if it's different. If there's something that you can pull out of it, then we've accomplished our task. Thank you very much. And again, Rest of McMains. Arigatou gozaimasu.